Now, tensions between Israel and Iran have turned the spotlight on Tehran's nuclear capabilities. The West accuses Iran of using its civil nuclear program as a cover for developing weapons, which it denies.
Isfahan is at the heart of Iran's nuclear program. This conversion plant is located outside the city. Powered by 3 Chinese-supplied research reactors, it produces fuel for Iran's civilian nuclear program. These images were shot in March 2005, one of the rare occasions the world got to see inside. Deep underground, in the wider province of Isfahan, is the Natanz uranium enrichment facility. Western nations say Iran is operating a secret weapons program here. Tehran, though, denies it is developing a nuclear bomb. In 2015, after long negotiations, Western nations struck a deal with Iran to stop it becoming a nuclear power. Tehran got relief from sanctions in return for accepting limits on its nuclear activities.
With courage, political will, mutual respect and leadership, we delivered on what the world was hoping for.
The following year, a new president moved into the White House. In 2018, he made good on one of his election promises.
I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
Without US participation, the agreement quickly unravelled. Iranian engineers got back to work, and progress has been swift. The UN nuclear watchdog says Iran is now producing uranium close to weapons-grade levels. These facilities are tempting targets for opponents of the Iranian regime. In 2010, a computer virus crippled operations at Natanz. No one has ever accepted responsibility, but many believe the virus was developed by the US and Israel. Natanz was again the target in 2021. The power went out here, setting enrichment back by months. Iran called it an act of nuclear sabotage and blamed Israel. Back in the present day, footage claimed to have been shot at the Isfahan facility. Tehran says the site here is safe and undamaged following Israel's strike.
All right, let's get more from Rafael Grossi. He's Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA. Welcome to DW, Mr. Grossi. How close would you say is Iran to producing an operational nuclear bomb?
Well, here I think we have to clarify something. There is a normal assumption when we talk about breakthrough times and how close or how far the country can be to assimilate that metric with the amount of time required to have the necessary amount of enriched uranium, which is at the moment estimated, assessed as a matter of weeks rather than months. But that does not mean that Iran has or would have a nuclear weapon in that space of time. And I think that is an important clarification to be made. A functional, like you say, a functional nuclear warhead requires many other things independently from the production of the fissile material, in this case, the uranium, including perhaps being tested. So while we say that the situation is a situation that warrants our alert because of the enrichment at almost military levels, we cannot be deriving from that the direct conclusion that Iran has now a nuclear weapon.
But why would Iran be enriching uranium to near military levels if it doesn't want to produce a nuclear weapon?
Well, that is a fair question, and it's a question that many are asking. At the same time, motivations or objectives or goals are a matter of speculation. And Iran, of course, the public line is that they want this material for medical or other civilian purposes. It's not very clear why these amounts and at this speed and at that level would be required from that. But since that is not technically impossible, this cannot be argued back. But what is clear, and what I have been telling my Iranian counterparts time and again, is that, of course, this activity raises eyebrows and compounded with the fact that we are not getting the necessary degree of access and visibility that I believe should be necessary. So when you put all of that together, then, of course, you end up with lots of question marks.
So if you're not getting the level of access that you would ideally like to have, it could be the case that as we are talking right now, Iran is effectively developing a nuclear weapon and you would not know about it.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that. What may be happening is that Iran could be, producing parts for centrifuges and other ancillary equipment of this type, which would, of course, have a repercussion in their general capabilities. But I cannot be speculating about that. We do not have any information of that type, that there is, because this is what you're pointing at, that there is an active nuclear weapon program as we speak. That would be incorrect. That would be misleading. That being said, there are doubts. Iran has not clarified a number of findings the agency made in Iran about activities, for example, taking place in places, on sites that were not supposed to be nuclear sites. So we have a number of questions. Why did we find traces of enriched uranium in places that are now a farm or a parking lot? What was there? Where is it now? So these questions, and at the same time, we have lost, and your introduction was very graphic in that regard, we lost, after this famous 2015 agreement, the JCPOA, was abandoned, we have lost a number of accesses and visibility and monitoring that for us is very important. And this has been at the center of this dialogue that I have been and I am still trying to conduct with Iran.
Right. I'm trying to understand the risk that all of this poses to the world, essentially. And this is where the Israel-Hamas war comes in, because this, as you've seen, has increased tensions between Israel and Iran. Do you think that the longer this war goes on, the greater the risk that Israel could potentially attack Iran's nuclear facilities?
Well, I hope not. I have said a few days ago, in the context of another conflict we are dealing with, which is the one in Ukraine, and referring the Security Council to the situation in Zaporizhia, that attacking nuclear facilities is an absolute no-go. It is contrary to international law, by the way, but it is something that is completely unacceptable. And on top of that, what we see is a tendency, a very worrisome tendency, really, of many, not only the Iranians, but others as well, to brandish the menace of attacking nuclear facilities or even dropping nuclear weapons, as it happened with Gaza, as you remember, in the beginning of the conflict. So I believe that this normalization of talk about nuclear weapons, dropping nuclear weapons, getting nuclear weapons is absolutely deplorable. We have something that is called the nuclear non-proliferation regime, which may not be perfect, granted, but it has allowed us for the past 70 years almost to avoid a nuclear war and to avoid situations that will be completely out of control. And we are getting closer to a situation where this could happen if we start sapping the non-proliferation regime in this irresponsible way.
Now, Mr. Grossi, at the weekend, it was reported that behind the scenes, Iran is in contact with the United States to resume nuclear negotiations. Can you confirm this?
Well, I think there are some contacts, and perhaps it's a question for the United States and not for me or for Iran. What we are always trying to promote is dialogue. We hope this dialogue takes place. What I am interested in is the dialogue between us, the IAEA, and Iran, because there are many things that need to be clarified, and it is for this that we are going to be traveling to Tehran soon.
And what will you be? What is the message you'll be bringing to Tehran with you? Because so far in this conversation, it appears that the Iranians aren't being absolutely as honest as you would like them to be, which leads me to wonder, what is the message you bring to them?
Well, you use the word honest, which is perhaps too much for me to get into this area. What I would say is that Iran should cooperate more. And this is clear. So more than a message, I will be there to try to put these things back on track. If they want to be believed, and I don't have a problem with that because we don't have an anti-Iranian agenda, but what we say is we need to verify. We need to be able to have unfettered access. We need to have the possibility to see what we need to see. If they don't have anything to hide, as they say so vehemently, why they are not cooperating with us in the way they should. So this, more than a message, will be, I sincerely hope, will be a serious conversation to put things back on track, because we are not on track as we should at this moment.
We'll leave it there for the time being, but thank you so much for joining us today. Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.